Back at it again, another chapter. Let's get started here. So we're talking about chapter 5, which talked a lot about the use of symbols and how certain symbols are misused, and um, it mentioned lots of things about like euphemisms, which happens to be the topic that we had to do for our assignment. And it talked about the power of language. This assignment stressed euphemisms and how they can be used or misused. A euphemism is a substitution of any type of expression that someone might take offense to or be considered pretty blunt or straightforward. Oftentimes, these are used to downplay situations or used to comfort people. Many include like saying like if someone passed away, or he or she is with God now, like considered comforting, instead of saying someone, he died. Um, Other ones are like saying that there's like major conflict or fight between two countries. It might indicate a war broke loose with serious death or destruction, but it kind of puts a little bit of sugar coat on it, make it sound a little bit nicer, instead of death and destruction. Um, there's In the list that we were given, there was the lying euphemisms, which are misstatements, political spins, unreliable, like white lie. Um, there's poverty euphemisms, which was the other one, which is unfortunate, underprivileged, under-resourced. These euphemisms are used to refer to someone who is poor, but in a polite way to avoid sounding harsh when talking about someone's economic status. War euphemisms are like, oh, we're gonna take out that person, which means kill them. Um, Physical persuasion, tough questioning, which is torture. Operational exhaustion, which is like shell shock, or Department of Defense, Department of War, neutralize, kill. Collateral damage, civilian deaths, but yeah, stuff like that. Those are war euphemisms. Um, some examples that where they might be misused in communications. I think underprivileged is one that is misused because in America, although we might see someone as underprivileged in our own society, someone in Africa or Asia might consider us very privileged. In fact, there are poor people who still have luxuries that those in third world countries don't have. Uh, these type can be interpreted in a variety of different ways and can come off as a lie. Political figures like the President of the United States of America use euphemisms all the time to make situations or conflict appear differently to help their agenda. A perfect example of this was during the 2016 presidential election when the clip of Donald Trump talking about grabbing girls by their private areas. It was misinformed by they downplayed it by using a euphemism by saying it was locker room talk. Um, Something as offensive as saying grabbing girls by their parts. It's turned into something that is downplayed, and using substituting certain words to bend the truth and cover it up, to make it not sound as bad as it really is. Um, Obama used many of these as well when referring to war to keep the country, I guess, comforted, to not think the worst. He used to make people feel that, like, he would use like terms like effort, or like process or fight or campaign or a moment of American leadership to refer to like ongoing like war with other countries and stuff like that. It's very deceiving to Americans because words like these can leave people in our country a false sense of what's really going on in the country. And according to the scholarly source that we had to use, mine was In Euphemisms for Terrorism by Jonathan Matsusitz. It states, Western media and government operate on the principle of semantic deviance and deflect attention away from reality. This could cause citizens to lower their guard in times where they should feel in danger. In other words, it can be dangerous because people will lower their guards against like terrorism and things if people word them in a certain way to make them feel like they're safe, but they're really not. So it's it can it can cause a lot of people to just not be on guard for like terrorist attacks or when things happen and not think that they couldn't happen to them. So, um, but yeah, those are how they can be misused, and yeah, that's chapter 5.